Hey everyone, this is Ashley, and I chose to focus my presentation on something that is referred to as FemHealth or FemTech, and that is apps that are designed for women to track their menstrual cycle along with planning or preventing pregnancy. They can also track fertility and ovulation. And from this point going forward, I'll be using more inclusive language like people who menstruate, but just wanted to clear that up first. Before we start, it's worth mentioning that in some cultures, menstruation is still considered extremely taboo, which can lead to some devastating consequences like misinformation, all the way up to violence against women. So hopefully we're all on the same page about menstruation, but assuming that we're not, here is a very brief crash course on what happens. So here we have a graph of a menstrual cycle. You'll see the red phase is the menstrual phase, followed by the purple, which is follicular phase. That one day, right at 14, is ovulation, which is its own phase, and the luteal phase. You'll see that the hormones jump around throughout the month, which is something to note. People who menstruate have been tracking their periods for centuries. Only recently have we been able to incorporate technology with our period calendars. And not only does this provide us insight, but it also has the potential to utilize all of that data to help our current state of research on women's reproductive health and women's health in general. Because of the varied implication that this innovation can have, the value proposition might be varied depending on either the specific app or the specific purpose that someone has in downloading the app. Some people might want to build a family, so a great value proposition would be build your true family, or track your cycle to take control of your life. Another one that would be good is understand how your body works. These are all value propositions that can be used with FemTech. So like I mentioned before, not only women menstruate, and there are some women who don't menstruate. So the market has to be flexible. We've seen a push for more neutralized sanitary items, that is tampons and pads, not wrapped in the pink wrappers, less of that girly stuff. This market is unique, also due to the wide age range. This type of innovation, this type of app, should be designed to grow with the user, quite possibly from 12 up to 50 years old. Currently, the market is saturated with apps that are pink and covered in flowers. You'll see on this slide that there are some apps including the number 28, suggesting the average 28-day cycle, but we know now that that is really only an average. Many people don't fall in that range, so we really need to be inclusive if we're going to use this successfully. Like I mentioned before, not only is all of the information collected on the app extremely useful to the user, but it has a potential to be extremely useful for researchers. There are some arguments against collecting this data. A lot of people see this as a breach of privacy. This is not only talking about menstruation, which I mentioned is very taboo, but can also mention sexual health, including the frequency of sexual encounters and any sexual related symptoms, which a lot of people have a problem with other people knowing. Only until the 1990s were women able to participate in clinical drug trials due to the fear of it affecting the reproductive system or pregnancy. And there's been a lot of studies since then that show that certain medications metabolize differently between men and women. And in 2005, 8 out of 10 prescription meds were pulled from the US market because of women's health issues. If we were to utilize these kinds of apps, you could have access to research participants to track their med progress in real time, as well as track their menstrual cycle. Environmental factors of this product are solely related to the environment that the user is in. If the user finds themselves in an area where menstruation is considered taboo, they may not be likely to use an app like this. An additional feature that several FemTech apps have adopted is the ability for users to connect with each other, turning a rather isolating lifelong experience into one about connection and understanding. These apps can also instill a sense of empowerment with its users. These people have access to their own personal data and are able to visualize it and quantify it. This innovation has the power to destigmatize and help the user achieve self-understanding. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I look forward to our next class together, and thank you all for being great classmates.